Today we are talking about literally the shyest nanofish that you're ever going to see, or maybe you'll never even see it if you don't do it correctly. Today we are talking about the Dwarf Emerald Rasbora, also known as the Emerald Dwarf Rasbora. We're gonna get into all the different care guides, everything you need to know to keep this fish successfully. And let me tell you, it is an absolute stunner. What is going on, everybody? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com. I'm actually the owner here at Flipaquatics, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about this super cool shy fish. This is the Dwarf Emerald Rasbora, Emerald Dwarf Rasbora, however you want to say it. First thing is it's not actually a Rasbora. I know, confusing, right? It's similar to the Celestial Pearl Danio or Galaxy Rasbora. That's actually a Danio. This is a close cousin, a relative to the Celestial Pearl Danio. So it is a Danio species, although the only thing you'll ever see it called is a Dwarf Emerald Rasbora or Emerald Dwarf Rasbora. Sorry, got a little hiccup there. But anyway, this fish, super cool, absolutely stunning. I'm telling you, with the exception of the Celestial Pearl Danio, these guys have the best coloration out of any nanofish. Now we're super low on stock. We have another import coming in this week, but these guys we've had for like a month and a half. And so we do keep them for a long period of time. They're literally such cool fish. So I know I mentioned that they're shy. Their temperament is like, these guys are like, they're like the kid that is afraid of the dark. And I say that in the nicest way. So these guys, like I come up to their tank, instantly they want to be behind the filter. They don't want to be anywhere near me. And so we're gonna talk about tank mates, and these guys absolutely need a dither fish. If you just buy this fish because you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a pretty fish, I want it in my aquarium, and you don't plan accordingly, you're never gonna see it. It's literally gonna hide behind leaves or plants or whatever the entire time. But with all that to be said, these guys are actually extremely easy to care for. They're similar to all the fish that we keep. We keep them in a pH of 7.2 to like 7.6, GH of 6 to 8, KH of 3 to 4-ish. Temperature, we keep them about like 70 to 74 degrees. You could go warmer than that, and they honestly would probably prefer a little bit warmer. But that's just the way our fish room is set up at the moment. And you know, you don't really have to do too much. Like we just have them in a sponge filter, 20-gallon tank. Now they would be much happier if we had some floating plants in here, but we're midweek where we're catching a lot, and so we don't have anything in there right now because it just makes it a little bit more difficult to scoop them out and sell them. But these guys, super cool fish. It's definitely one that you have to plan for. So let's talk about ideal tank setup for these guys. I always share, you know, kind of what we're doing, but then actually I'll recommend what I think you should do. So this is a 20-gallon tank. We stock this with about 100 fish at a time. Certainly don't recommend that for you. We're just using a basic sponge filter. If I was gonna set up a tank at home, I would do a 10-gallon minimum because these fish get to about a max size, I wanna say 1 inch to 1.25 inches. 1 inch and a quarter is like a big mama. That's a big girl. Say that these get to about 1 inch, so I'd like to see them in a 10-gallon tank at least, for the simple fact that these guys like being kept in a school. They're shy, so they wanna be with each other, they wanna be around each other. I would say a minimum group of like 6. You're gonna read that probably like 8, 10, 12 is ideal. 6 you can get away with, and here's why. You need a dither fish. If you don't know what a dither fish is, that is a fish that is like not afraid of anything, is not aggressive. It's just literally gonna swim around. Normally it's smaller than these fish because if they see that fish, they know, hey, it's all good. We're not gonna get eaten. I'm gonna come out and I'm not gonna be shy. And so they need something like that. And later on in this video, we'll go through some dither fish that you could add to your tank to make these guys feel more comfortable. But how I do the setup is I would probably do like a planted tank substrate. So like Brightwell, Eco Complete, something like that. You could do sand, you don't have to get crazy. And then I would do a bunch of like tall plants. That would give them plenty of hiding places. I'd probably do a piece of driftwood, you know, add the tannins in, really make it look natural. The way that we keep our water is set up that you could use tap water, at least most tap water, make sure to dechlorinate it. And then well water for the majority of the United States. So again, our pH is like 7.3 to 7.6. And so you can go a little bit either direction. As far as filtration, we just use a mat filter. It's not like, or we use a sponge filter. We also use mat filters, but in this tank, we're using a sponge filter. And so it's very gentle flow. So I wouldn't do anything that's like super high flow. I've never used on them. They don't, you know, they're shy anyway. So like they don't like anything that's gonna force them to be out in the current. So something low flow, so like a little hang on the back filter would be fine. And then as far as everything else goes, I mean, they're pretty easy to take care of. So just set up a tank that works for you and you're gonna be pretty successful as long as you make sure to keep them with dither fish. So what do you actually feed Dwarf Emerald Rasboras? And so right here is actually one of our husbandry carts. You know, this is what our team uses to go through and take care of all of our fish here. So there's a couple different options. One thing that we feed, this is just a mix of a bunch of different small foods kind of ground up. The main food in here is Northfin nanobits. And it's good food. And we take other pellets from Northfin, grind them up. The community food's good. The vegetable or the veggie food's good. And so these guys have pretty small mouths. They're also like a little shy. So like you want something that's gonna float on the surface for a little while so that they can get it when they're ready. But this is about as big as you wanna get. Now, let me give you a comparison. So this is Northfin community food. This is 0.5 millimeters. This stuff is super, super small, but this is almost too big for their mouth. So this is the biggest I would feed them. You wanna stay towards small pellets. Although my personal favorite, just for like a quick, easy solution. Oh, look, I found a kelp wafer in our flake food. That's actually pretty funny. But this is a mix of a bunch of different Northfin flake foods. So we just mix it all up and grind it up real fine. And then we feed it just a little bit of a ground up pinch at a time. And those are the three easiest foods. The other things we do feed here, we feed a decent amount of frozen food. Baby brine is really good. There's also frozen Daphnia. There's also frozen bloodworms, things like that. It's gonna be good. It's an added protein source for them. But my favorite food is a live Daphnia colony. Absolutely love it. I love feeding live Daphnia. It's a good source of fiber. It's something we feed to the majority of the fish in our fish room. And it's something I highly recommend, to the point where we just actually set up 4 additional 100-gallon, or I think they're 80-gallon Laguna ponds just to breed Daphnia, just to feed our fish. So this won't even be for resale. And so we love Daphnia around here. I'm sure if you've watched our videos before, you'll hear us talking about Daphnia, live Daphnia all the time. It's just an amazing food source, something that we highly recommend to bring out the true nature of a fish. So a little bit about the Dwarf Emerald Rasbora is they are a fairly, I would say, beginner-friendly fish, although they are shy, and we've already addressed that, so we don't have to go more into it. Although a lot of Rasboras get a reputation of being very sensitive. These guys are not sensitive. Now, if you just ordered some random Dwarf Emerald Rasboras online from a company you've never heard of, most likely you're gonna get them, most likely they're not gonna do good. So the thing that makes fish hardy or not hardy is the acclimation process. So one thing that we do here is we always hold our fish for at least 14 days. That gives us time to observe them. It gives us time to pre-treat them for any internal parasites, bacterial infections, like rare colnaris, things like that, ick. And so we're able to monitor them, see how they're doing, make sure they're growing, they're getting fatter. And that is our goal with these fish. So that is our promise to you, that we are gonna do the work ahead of time so that when you get fish delivered to you, they're gonna be healthy. And the way that we ensure that that happens is we do a couple things even on our shipping side. So like we ship these guys UPS overnight only. That way they're only in transit for 1 day. Granted, delays do happen. We'll work with you if that does happen. We offer 100% live arrival guarantee, just so it's peace of mind. We also ship with breather bags, which I don't know of anyone else that ships fish with breather bags, at least at our scale. We do that because it reduces sloshing in the bag, and it also allows them to live a little bit longer if there is a delay. And so we really take what we do seriously here at Flipaquatics, and we want to make sure that you guys get healthy animals every time, and our goal is to set the standard. Now that doesn't mean you shouldn't quarantine these when you get them, because things can slip by. So it's always good to have a quarantine tank set up and just be prepared. So let's talk about dither fish. So we talked this whole time about how shy they are, how they need a fish that has a lot of personality, that's not afraid of anything that's gonna come out. And they honestly prefer fish that are smaller. So like right here are what I call micro Rasboras. Now, there's a lot of different options. The most popular is a chili Rasbora. This one right here is a mirror Rasbora. There's also explanation point, there's strawberry, there's spotted. There's a lot of different options. The genus type is Borealis. And so you can look up plenty of different options. We'll put some links down below for you guys. But these guys are small. They're not really afraid. They're kind of a, I don't want to insult anyone, but they're kind of a dumb fish. They're not very intelligent. And so like, they're just like, hey, living my best life. You want to catch me with a net? I'm ready to go. And so these guys would be a really good dither fish, but we don't have any right now. Usually they're on the bottom row. But another really good dither fish would be any type of white cloud. So gold white cloud, regular white cloud, longfin white cloud. Again, not a very intelligent fish, so it's not really gonna hide. It's just gonna swim around, do its thing. It's not aggressive at all. That's a really good dither fish because there's always gonna be out doing something, and your emerald dwarf rasboras will actually school with them. So that is two good fish options. Another good option, which, you know, you guys know, flipaquatics, we love shrimp. So dwarf emeralds, they're actually what we consider a shrimp, I don't want to say safe, shrimp compatible fish. They're so scared that they would probably be afraid of a baby shrimp. And so you can safely keep adult shrimp with them. Maybe they'll eat a baby, I don't know for sure. But it is another option that you can have out there. And then obviously snails would be good. Snails aren't gonna bother them at all. And those are just some different tank mates that you can put with them just to make them feel more at home and get them to come out and show their true colors. If you guys are like me, I always want to try to breed things. So just some frequently asked questions. The first one that we get with these guys is, can you breed them in freshwater? That's what everyone wants to know with pretty much every fish that's out there. Can you breed it? Can I multiply this? And a lot of people like a challenge. These are ones that you actually can breed in freshwater. They are an egg scatterer, so you need to make sure that you have like, you know, you can potentially put some spawning mops in there. I know a lot of breeders that will put like marbles in the bottom, so that way when the eggs fall, they'll get between those marbles and the fish can't eat them. But it does take a little bit of effort. You actually have to pull the eggs out, hatch them, that kind of stuff. So I'm certainly not gonna stay in here and say it's easy to do, but it definitely is possible. So do you need live food to actually keep these guys? I love live Daphnia, but no, you don't need live food. You can get away with flakes, tiny little pellets. Again, grinding up the pellets is gonna help you a lot. Frozen foods are really good. You don't need live foods, but I do highly recommend it. So the next question, and maybe you guys have this from watching the video, is do you actually need a dither fish, or can you just keep them in a species only tank? Well, you don't need a dither fish, but you do need to know that they are shy, and it might take them 6 months to get really comfortable. If you get close to their tank, they're probably gonna scatter. So if you're willing to put them in your living room and sit back a ways and just sit there and watch them, eventually they're gonna come out. But if you really want them to be completely like just out there and always displaying their amazing coloration, then you're gonna want dither fish because you're gonna wanna enjoy them more often. So if you guys are at all interested in dwarf emerald rasboras or emerald dwarf rasbora, however you wanna say it, consider checking out flipaquatics. Again, we take a lot of pride in our animals, and we hope that you place an order and can see that what we say is what we preach and it's all true. And again, we just appreciate you guys. Out of all of this, I hope you guys learn something. I hope you get inspired. And this is just a fun hobby that is a great thing to be a part of. It helps a lot of people, helps a lot of people with anxiety. And so if you're like this fish, you're a little shy, maybe getting these fish and you guys can do some bonding together. I don't know, but this hobby is just great. And so we appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching this care guide. You guys make it a great rest of your day. As always, God bless. We'll catch you on the flip side.